Hey everyone, Muckluck Douglas Bartholomew Reginald Esquire IV here, and this is a guide to the basics of playing a Druid in PvE content. First, I'll go over my recommended starter build along with some alternative choices, then show you the playstyle and some tips and tricks with clips of the build in action. If you want to skip ahead, timestamps can be found down below. Let's get started. This is the basic build I recommend for general use. There will be some specific fights where a certain trait, skill, or pet will be preferred over the ones in this guide, but what I'm about to show you is for all-purpose druidism. Specializations and talents. Let's start with skirmishing. Trapper's expertise. It increases the healing of Healing Spring by 60% and reduces the recharge. It is amazing if you are using Healing Spring. Spotter. An aura that gives Fury, which is increased critical strike chance, to nearby allies while in combat every 10 seconds. And it lasts for 6 seconds with maximum concentration. I'll come back to this if you don't know what that is. This, combined with your Warhorn 5, will keep Fury up on your party 100% of the time and has a large margin for error. At a higher skill level, you can use a different trait in this column and quick draw Warhorn 5 often to keep that Fury up instead, but this makes it very easy. Quick draw, a powerful skill that makes your next weapon skill, that's anything on the 1 through 5, after a weapon swap cooldown very fast. The skill reads when swapping weapons, but going into Astral Form counts as a swap. So if you go Astral Form, use your biggest heal with quick draw, then you can use your biggest heal again a few seconds later. Nature magic. In the first column, I am a big fan of Ally's Aid, which gives you the ability to easily revive someone once per minute. When you start reviving someone, your pet will join in, and even if you have to stop and move for some reason, your pet will continue getting that person back up. My second choice would be Instinctive Reaction, which gives a slight bonus to healing power all of the time. Windborne Notes reduces the recharge of Warhorn skills by 20% and makes your Warhorn skills apply regeneration. That's the 4 and also the 5, despite the fact that the 4 does not have it on the tooltip for some reason. Combined with Warhorn 5, this can start healing allies very far away from you in any direction. Be aware that Warhorn 4 strikes an enemy target, so it will apply regeneration only to allies that are around that target. Nature's Vengeance makes your spirits much easier to keep alive, and increases their buff radius by 50%. As of June 2022, this also gives the activated spirits Alacrity. With concentration gear and this trait, you can take 3 spirits, and if you use their abilities often, will keep the highly valued Alacrity buff on your party 100% of the time. And of course, Druid. Cultivated Synergy makes your heal skill perform an extra heal burst when you use it on allies close to you. Natural Stride or Celestial Shadow are my picks in this column. Natural Stride is good all the time. Faster movement and faster recovery from conditions which would slow you down. Celestial Shadow is amazing in rare moments. If you have aggro, you can go Astral Form and then drop it to Stealth, or even go Astral next to a downed ally and drop Astral to Stealth you and the ally to increase the chance of getting a res off without being interfered with. Note, if the ally performs any action, it will break the stealth. If you are pugging, don't depend on them knowing what you're doing. Natural Mender, as well as many traits in the final column, have been reworked in June 2022. Since then, my preference has become Lingering Light, giving a nice bonus to our green numbers on other people. Skills. Healing Spring. This makes keeping spirits alive insanely easy, and the constant healing on party and spirits makes your astral power generation also an easy task, allowing you to go into astral form very often. Additionally, it cures 2 conditions off you and nearby allies when cast, and another 2 for 5 pulses every 2 seconds for 10 seconds on up to 5 allies. Some quick math, that's 60 potential condition removals in the worst condition-related environment. Mechanically, this can trivialize some encounters. Because we need 3 spirits in order to keep the coveted Alacrity buff on our party, that limits our options here. Here is what I use usually take. Sun Spirit keeps vigor on the party, increasing endurance generation, that's your dodge juice. Some classes use their dodges to do damage, and this will flat out make them do more damage, such as Mirage. All classes benefit from being able to dodge more often, increasing their ability to stay alive. Can be reactivated for party alacrity, enemy blind, and a burn on the enemies. The burn will be weak because we are not building condition damage ourselves. Stone Spirit keeps protection on the party, reducing incoming damage by 33% for group members. With concentration gear, it is up 100% of the time. It can be activated a second time to cripple and immobilize surrounding mobs and grant alacrity to the party with Nature's Vengeance. Frost Spirit grants might to nearby allies. With concentration gear, this will keep 9 stacks of might on teammates. With the help of your Warhorn, you can keep up 15 stacks of might quite easily. To reach 25 stacks consistently, your party will need some from another source, but it is quite common these days. If you cast it a second time, it will chill surrounding mobs and grant alacrity to the party with Nature's Vengeance. Honorable mention: Search and Rescue. In a good group, you may never have to hit this button. In a dicey group, you will be a hero every time you use it successfully. It will teleport a downed ally in range to you and your pet starts to res them. If you then click F to res them, they are getting resed by 2 targets and get back up very quick. Be very jealous of necromancers who can do this with transfusion talent every 15 seconds or so. If you take this skill, you will have to take Water Spirit to reach the 3 spirit count required to keep up alacrity. And if you take Water Spirit, your ability to cleanse conditions on others will be reduced, so keep this in mind if you choose to do it. To recap, I like to take Sun, Stone, and Frost Spirits for boons and keeping up alacrity on my group. The elite skill, Glyph of the Stars. In October 2022, the skill was reworked and it is my go-to elite skill. In astral form, when dropped, it will rapidly revive anyone in its radius and push out healing, stability, regen, and vigor to teammates in its area. When in normal form, it will push out lesser healing, condition cleansing, and stability. It's important to note it does give stability in both modes. I most often use this to mass revive people in an area, also healing and booning others in its radius. It boasts a short 48-second cooldown, even shorter with your own alacrity buff. Let's talk weapons. Axe, Warhorn, and Staff. Use Axe Warhorn as your default. Your priority for this is pretty much 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hard to remember, right? The Warhorn skills are your strongest and apply regen to everyone and other buffs. Axe 3 puts weakness on the enemy, making them do 50% damage sometimes, and the chill helps with break bars. Axe 2 is raw damage, use it when all the other skills are on cooldown. Staff, the Druid staple weapon. The staff offers more healing on demand and some utility when needed. In a run that goes completely smoothly, you may never have to use the staff at all. A quick rundown. Staff 5. Sublime Conversion makes a flowery water wall that stops enemy projectiles, making them healing projectiles, and regens allies that run through it. There seems to be no target cap with this skill, meaning it can regen very large groups of people as long as they all make contact with it. Very useful in open world meta events. Staff 4. Vine Surge roots and cures allies of root in a line. Can use it to help with break bars or CC enemies in some circumstances. Honestly, this is very rarely used button when you're healing in PvE. Staff 3 is a movement skill that heals at the end of it. Think of it like a chest bump that makes everyone healthy. If you use it into the flower wall, it procs a healing combo, which results in 2 heals bursting out of you instead of 1. Staff 2 puts a small ball of healing on the target that orbits around them and heals allies as it passes. This skill was buffed in 2022, allowing it to stick to an enemy or ally and healing everyone around that target for a few seconds. Also great for topping off your spirits if needed. Staff 1, heal allies that are between you and the target you're shooting at. This is one of the only ranger ranged attacks that is not a projectile, which gives it some strengths. Equipment. I recommend Harrier gear, and while working towards that, use whatever you can find with healing power, and secondly, concentration. Once you get full Harrier's gear, you can look forward to having double the original duration of all of your boons. This will make your Fury, Swiftness, Regen, Vigor, some of your Might, and Protection stay up on the party 100% of the time. Superior Rune of the Monk is the #1 choice for most healers, giving a nice boost to healing effectiveness. If you cannot afford afford those yet, Runes of Dwayna are a nice substitute, and there are possibly others. Remember, you need the same rune on your Rebreather because it replaces your hat in the water. For sigils, I run Transference and Concentration on both weapon sets. Pet choices. For raw damage, Sandlion does the most damage. The Fanged Aboga does more, but only if the target attacks quickly, thus taking more damage from the Aboga's confusion. Rock Gazelle and Electric Wyvern can do a lot of damage to break bars with their skill set, making them great for a second pet for this purpose. The Fern Hound offers another source of healing, albeit a small one. If you are struggling, you can bring the Fern Hound to have one more healing button. Some other pets that are useful for specific situations. The Jacaranda when you need to immobilize a target, the White Tiger when you need Aegis, the Tiger when you need help keeping Fury up, maybe if you don't have all of your concentration gear yet, the Baby Siege Turtle for another projectile block besides your Staff 5. The Brown Bear offers another way of cleansing conditions from your teammates. However, you do already have a lot of ways to handle conditions, but just know the options are available. Playstyle. You have a few different tasks to handle as a healing druid. First is those juicy buffs. Keep your Warhorn skills, your spirits and their skills, and your healing spring on cooldown to keep all those boons on your party. You want to make a habit of doing this constantly. Healing spring, while in range of your spirits, will make keeping them alive an easy task. Also, any party members who aren't using their own combo fields will be using the water field from your spring to do many heals without even realizing it. If you see health bars just barely go down, you can let Healing Spring's regeneration just patch them back up. But if they drop further than that, you have a few options. You can go into Staff 5 and then 3 into it for a water combo to heal your team. You could use 3 first, which procs Quick Draw, then use 3 into 5 when it cools down for a smaller heal, followed by the larger combo heal after a small delay. You could go into Astral Form and use your largest healing burst, Lunar Impact, let Quick Draw proc on it, use other healing skills, namely the 2 and the 4 while the 3 cools down, and then use the 3 again as needed. If at any time you don't need to stay in Astral Form anymore, end it early so it starts cooling down to become available again. Don't just stand in that mode wasting time. In open world meta events, remember that Staff 5 can hit a lot of targets, allowing you to do some minor healing on a very large number of people if they're packed into a small area. Next up, let's talk condition cleansing. Healing Spring makes for some very easy condition cleansing and is active for about 50% of the fight with alacrity. It will cure 2 conditions per pulse off of up to 5 allies in its radius, doing a total possible 60 cleanses. How many cleanses did we do? 403 cleanses on other people. Your second option is Seed of Life, which is Astral 2. With a very short cooldown, usable even while doing other skills, you can nearly spam this to get negative effects off your party. You can also combo the Seed of Life's light combo field by casting Astral 3 and then 2 in it right before it drops, doing additional condition cleanses in the area. Glyph of the Stars, if used in its non-astral state, will cleanse a large amount of conditions as well, though I rarely have to use it for that purpose. Let's talk CC. Is it time to interrupt a break bar? As a druid, you have a few large options. One is going astral and using the skills 3, 5, 3. That's using Lunar Impact, Natural Convergence, and then Lunar Impact again due to Quick Draw cooling it down quickly. Additionally, at the same time, you can swap to a CC pet and have it use its CC skills on the target as well, some of the best options being Electric Wyvern or Rock Gazelle. A few tips and tricks. Astral Form 3 with Astral Form 2 right at the end of it is a condition cleanse combo. You will be using Warhorn 5 on cooldown for boons, but it is also a blast finisher. Make sure you're standing in your healing spring whenever you use it for extra healing combos. Your astral power generates faster as you heal things, including your spirits. Make sure they are getting splashed by your regen and heals both for your astral power and to keep them alive doing their job. Using Staff 5, then Staff Staff 3 into the field is a healing combo, which performs bonus healing. Using Glyph of the Stars right before dropping Astral Form will still count as a full Astral Glyph of the Stars for its whole duration. So you can use it to start reviving people and drop Astral Form mid-cast, and it will still work. If running Celestial Shadow, you can purposely Astral on, then Astral off on top of someone to stealth them, often used to attempt to revive in a dicey situation. Just remember, if they use a skill, it will reveal them. Conclusion. Why play the Druid? Same reason as any other class. Play it if you think it's fun. If you like the idea of healing and supporting a party while bringing more damage than many of the supports, or you just like having a pet or the playstyle, this could be the class for you. At the time I'm making this guide, I've cleared all 100 fractals, all raids, all strike missions, and most of the challenge modes for all 3 of those categories with this gameplay style. I do want to stress again, this guide is for general use. There are occasional fights where you will bring Entangling Roots as your elite skill to hit 5 break bars at once, or to simply stop all of the mobs like the Gorseval raid boss, or perhaps you need Glyph of the Tides to push enemies away like the Veil Guardian. But for what we have discussed here, I feel that those are specific situations. In closing, I love playing this class, and it is my go-to for group PvE content. A massive thank you to the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep this channel alive. Your support makes it possible for us to spend more time making content and working with the finest video editor on earth. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button for the YouTube algorithm, leave a comment with any tips and tricks on this topic, and subscribe for more content. If you need more Guild Wars 2 guides, you can find all of them in the guides playlist on this channel or in more organized form on mucklucklabs.com. Happy healing!